Assalamu alaikum, dear students. I hope everybody is doing fine. I have waited for 10 minutes for all of you to join so that if there was any problem with the internet, you could join. And I can see only 21 participants who have joined so far. We will not wait any longer and we'll start today's class. Before we do so, there are some instructions that I have, given you in the previous class as well, that you must get your short attendance form signed by me and submitted to the department so that they can give me a decision whether to revive your attendance or not. Other than that, come prepared for your quiz number 4. Um, and I gave you some readings to bring in a printed form. You have to bring those as well. Today we'll be talking about a very common topic that we use on daily basis, that is email writing with regards to 7 C's of communication. In order to start the topic that we are going to do today, we need to remind ourselves about the communication process and 7 C's of communication. So, who among you all who is in the meeting is going to tell us about or define communication for us? So, how would you define communication? If you would like to answer, you can either use chat box or you can raise your hand. The moment I let you know that you can speak, unmute yourself and participate. Do not altogether come and speak, that will create a chaos. I'll repeat my question. The question is, how would you define communication? Ji Hasnain.
Ma'am, it is a means of transferring information between ourselves, matlab one another.
Okay, a means of communication, a means of a tool between two people who use it in order to communicate with each other, in order to express their feelings, ideas, concepts with each other. That's fine. Then we talked about, different types of communication. Who can remind us about those types? Who would like to remind us about those? Ji Zahra.
Ma'am, types of communication are grape communication, horizontal communication, vertical communication, and verbal and non-verbal communication, organizational communication. There are several types of communication.
Good. There are several types of communication: one-way communication, two-way communication, formal and informal communication, horizontal, vertical, grapevine, and we also talked about mass communication and organizational communication. All these are flavors or shades of communication that we know for a fact are there. Rest of it, another topic that was associated with communication was barriers to effective communication. Who would like to remind us about those barriers? What were the barriers? जी ज़हरा बताएं.
Ma'am, there are different types of barriers: physical barrier, psychological barrier, semantic barrier, and cultural barrier,
Mhm.
perceptional barrier, emotional barrier. We can discuss about almost 20 or more than 20 types of barriers.
Yes, basically we have four major types of barriers, and within it we can have many subcategorizations and many flavors and shades. As far as physical barriers are concerned, They have to do with the physical distance between the speaker and the listener. Some kind of distortion can be there. Some kind of technological interference could be there. For example, if I'm talking to somebody who's in Nepal and I am in Pakistan and there is distortion within our phone sets, that is also a kind of a voice that is eventually a noise and a hindrance in effective communication, a barrier in effective communication. Then we also talked about psychological barriers. Psychological barriers, they have to do with emotions, our well-being, our sensitivity, how we perceive things, what are our viewpoints and point of views, and how emotionally we welcome certain things. So these are the psychological barriers. Psychological barriers can cause you to do things in a very ineffective manner or not do it at all. Then we have semantic barriers, which are related to language barriers. For example, if I'm talking to somebody who is from Germany and who only speaks Dutch, and I don't understand Dutch and I can speak English. So both of us, we are in the conflict of language barrier. We will struggle with a lot of meaning making processes. Then we have organizational barrier. Within organizational barrier, as the name suggests, it is the complexity or to be very simple in an organization. Both can be a very harmful activity within an organization. Within it, we can have cultural barrier as well. Every office, every workplace, every university, or every place that you go, it has a certain kind of culture that it says. It is a common belief within Asian countries that public offices, they have bad cultures and leg pulling and etc. is more prominent as compared to the private offices. This is a universalized kind of way. You can definitely disagree with it. So these cultural barriers are there. Unnecessarily complex hierarchical structures are there. All these things can cause a lot of chaos among employers and can result into barrier. The reason I'm reminding you about all these communication related topics because email writing is also a type of communication. Rather, it's written communication. Um, After barriers, we also talked about seven principles and uh, seven C's of communication. Yes. So who's going to tell us what are the seven C's of communication? Hmm? No idea?
Ma'am, I know some of them.
Go ahead, tell us.
Ma'am, correctness, conciseness, concreteness,
Okay.
coherence,
Hmm. That's correct. Well, as far as
and clarity.
clarity, that's great. Seven C's of communication include all these, the ones that Rafi just told us. Other than this, we have, of course, courtesy, candidness, and etc. Now, I'll show you a little video to reinforce the ideas that we have just discussed. Let's look at the art of communication, um, and then come back and talk about it later. Here. Okay, what do you understand by the video? It is a different perspective on the art of communication. The type of communication or art of communication we have been talking about for the entire semester has to do with the commercialized, official kind of communication, academic communication within certain boundaries kind of communication. But the one video that we have just witnessed also talk about how human connection is able to revive and go further with communication only. So communication is something that has to be there, that has to be claimed, reclaimed time and again in order to make sense of it. Without communication, we cannot have good relationships, be it professional or personal. Other than this, another important point that we just discussed is the how miscommunication could happen. We also talked about miscommunication concept in the classes. Let's watch a video with its regard so that you can remember or revive those pieces of information in your mind.
Have you ever talked with a friend about a problem, only to realize that he just doesn't seem to grasp why the issue is so important to you? Have you ever presented an idea to a group, and it's met with utter confusion? Or maybe you've been in an argument when the other person suddenly accuses you of not listening to what they're saying at all. What's going on here? The answer is miscommunication, and in some form or another, we've all experienced it. It can lead to confusion, animosity, misunderstanding, or even crashing a multi-million-dollar probe into the surface of Mars. The fact is, even when face-to-face with another person, in the very same room and speaking the same language, human communication is incredibly complex. But the good news is that a basic understanding of what happens when we communicate can help us prevent miscommunication. For decades, researchers have asked what happens when we communicate. One interpretation, called the transmission model, views communication as a message that moves directly from one person to another, similar to someone tossing a ball and walking away. But in reality, this simplistic model doesn't account for communication's complexity. Enter the transactional model, which acknowledges the many added challenges of communicating. With this model, it's more accurate to think of communication between people as a game of catch. As we communicate our message, we receive feedback from the other party. Through the transaction, we create meaning together. But from this exchange, further complications arise. It's not like the Star Trek universe, where some characters can Vulcan mind meld, fully sharing thoughts and feelings. As humans, we can't help but send and receive messages through our own subjective lenses. When communicating, one person expresses her interpretation of a message, and the person she's communicating with hears his own interpretation of that message. Our perceptual filters continually shift meanings and interpretations. Remember that game of catch? Imagine it with a lump of clay. As each person touches it, they shape it to fit their own unique perceptions based on any number of variables, like knowledge or past experience, age, race, gender, ethnicity, religion, or family background. Simultaneously, every person interprets the message they receive based on their relationship with the other person and their unique understanding of the semantics and connotations of the exact words being used. They could also be distracted by other stimuli, such as traffic or a growling stomach. Even emotion might cloud their understanding. And by adding more people into a conversation, each with their own subjectivities, the complexity of communication grows exponentially. So as the lump of clay goes back and forth from one person to another, reworked, reshaped, and always changing, it's no wonder our messages sometimes turn into a mush of miscommunication. But luckily, there are some simple practices that can help us all navigate our daily interactions for better communication. 1. Recognize that passive hearing and active listening are not the same. Engage actively with the verbal and nonverbal feedback of others and adjust your message to facilitate greater understanding. 2. Listen with your eyes and ears, as well as with your gut. Remember that communication is more than just words. 3. Take time to understand as you try to be understood. In the rush to express ourselves, it's easy to forget that communication is a two-way street. Be open to what the other person might say. And finally, 4, be aware of your personal perceptual filters. Elements of your experience, including your culture, community, and family, influence how you see the world. Say, this is how I see the problem, but how do you see it? Don't assume that your perception is the objective truth. That'll help you work towards sharing a dialogue with others to reach a common understanding together.
Okay, I hope this reinforcement of the idea has helped you revive your information in your mind that how miscommunication and communication can be done. This is a very fruitful video for you to keep with yourself for examination sake. So I have sent its link in your chat box. आप इसको रख सकते हैं, बाद में भी आपको ये help करेगा. So we just discussed that how communication is an art, right? How it is important and how miscommunication can be there if we do not pay enough attention.
When you write, you're
Now we come to an important topic, another topic that is 7 C's of communication. When we talk about 7 C's of communication, of course, you have just told me that we have correctness, we have uh, concisement, we also have coherence, and then courtesy is there, completeness is there, clarity is there. All of them, all of these, they have information and attribute to add to the mix of whatever we are doing. Now the topic, email writing, let's talk about that. Email writing requires us to be clear, concise, complete, whatever email we are sending. If I show you my email, my inbox of my Gmail address, you'll see that I receive a lot of emails which are not correct or complete most of the times. What do students do? They just write everything they want to say in the subject line and send it my way without even telling me who they are, where they're from, what is their roll number, and etc. They just assume that the teacher or the recipient would understand कि ये कहाँ से आई है. That is the most basic mistake that most of the students commit, and this is what we are going to learn today. We are going to try come out of these basic mistakes and do not make them in future ever, right? How many of you are confident that you know how to write an email with keeping all these 7 C's in mind? Everyone's sleeping. That's all
hello.
right.
Anna's
Can
just arrived at her desk to
Zahra, go
start the
ahead.
day at Tip Top Trading.
Ma'am, I can write email, but I'm not too much expert in writing emails.
Okay. Okay. What are the components of an email? The basic components. What could be there?
Ma'am, first of all, we write the receiver email, then we write the subject, what is our email about, and we write it in a short sentence or in 1 or 2 lines if our email is too much large. And then we write what the actual email is, how can we start the we use proper words, and at the end we use our information like who are we, from where we belong. That's what I
Okay. Other than this, like every other write-up, we have an introduction, the middle part, and the conclusion. In the conclusion, we write sincerely, yours truly, regards, and etc. Such things are there. Now, let's look at what are the important parts of an email. Let me share the PowerPoint with you. Now, these are the things that we are going to discuss from this topic, that is introduction to email writing that we have just discussed, advantages of email writing, characteristics, problems, basic parts, types of emails, techniques and tips to improve, layout and common expressions and ethical considerations. As far as advantages are concerned, advantages are there, of course. It saves you a lot of time. I used to be the tutor in Illama Iqbal Open University, and students used to post all their assignments to me or to my home address, to my office address. Now, after a certain time period, I would get this, I would call it a kind of a body in my home, in my room somewhere, where I used to check all those assignments and then post them back. It took a lot of time. ये पूरा एक process हुआ करता था. उसकी listing भी manually करनी पड़ती थी, क्योंकि किसने भेजी, किसने नहीं भेजी. There was no computer system in fashion at that time. वो सारा कुछ करके पंच इन करके उसकी एक्सेल शीट बना के आई यूज टू send it back to the department and then send assignments, checked assignments to the students, to each one of the students. So you can just imagine how much time it took. After that, they introduced email system, and then of course eventually we have these LMS system, जहाँ आपका Zapdesk है. हम right now Google Classroom यूज करते हैं. बहुत कुछ और इंट्रोड्यूस हो चुका है. तब ऐसा नहीं होता था, बहुत प्रॉब्लम हुआ करती थी. So email writing made all this communication instant, easy, and manageable in so many perspective. Back then, I would get 100, 200 students only, because that was the only thing which was manageable because of everything. But now, because LMS and email and every technological advancement has been there, introduced there, it's very easy to actually call back or email the student to tell them whether they have submitted incorrectly or correctly. तो बहुत आसानी है. Email जो है, email makes your life and your communication very easy. As far as introduction is concerned, email has definitely uh, swap its places with postal communication and postal offices. Professionalism, social and family life or familial life could be there when we are using email addresses or emails. It was invented by Raym Temmelson in 1971. It's an easy means, a tool to connect with each other. If you remember, one of you just told us that communication is a tool of communication between two people. So is email. Email is a type of communication, an electronic way of communicating with each other. Less time consuming, incredibly high speed is there, cost effective and efficient. As far as advantages are concerned, like I've told you, manageability is there, trouble nahi hoti, you can attach things freely. For example, I remember from my experience, मैंने दो assignments हुआ करती थी, किसी एक डिग्री की और किसी की चार. मैंने मिस्टेकनली जो चार असाइनमेंट्स वापस पोस्ट करनी थी, मैंने दो करके वापस कर दी. लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल, स्टूडेंट वन ने चार सबमिट करवाई है और मैंने दो चेक करके वापस कर दी, क्योंकि मेरे माइंड में था कि दो किसी और की हैं. तो इट टुक मी अनदर राउंड ऑफ पोस्टिंग असाइनमेंट्स बैक. स्पीड में कमी आई, मैनेजेबिलिटी में प्रॉब्लम हुई, एक्स्ट्रा पैसे लग गए, एंड इट वाज अ ट्रबल एज वेल. So advantages of email could be that it has much speedy recovery, free attachments could be there, cost effective, and etc. As far as characteristics are concerned, briefness is there, conciseness is there. We are, restricted to one topic and screen only. Okay, text is specific, language is simplified for all kinds of people. It's direct and clear. We use text in a very accurate and clear manner so that our message is put across. Less informal than letter, more spontaneous and impersonal than a letter. Okay, और ये भी कंफर्मेशन हो जाती है कि ईमेल वहां पहुंची है कि नहीं, बिकॉज हमारे पास ऐसे सर्वर्स हैं. Problems of email writing: poor and incomplete documentation. For example, A few days ago, I was submitting a result to an HOD, I believe. I don't know. I wrote the entire email and I did everything that was there, supposed to be added there. And I wrote in the text that attachments are attached or the required document is attached. Now, because of technological advancement, I forgot to attach the attachment, by the way. But because Gmail now offers to ask you that you have written attachment in your email, but you have not attached it. So I was reminded of it कि मैंने attachment नहीं लगाई. लेकिन कुछ साल पहले की बात करें तो it was very common. We were learning. So बिना attachment भी हम भेज दिया करते थे. तो ये incomplete documentation could be there. Then computer limitations. Of course, some of us are very good with computers and some of us are like me कि basics आती हैं ज़्यादा नहीं आती तो उसकी वजह से भी बहुत problems आ सकती हैं. But email writing I have learned and you can do so as well. Lack of privacy could be there. Your password could be hacked. Your password could be duplicated. A person can get into your inbox and etc. That is there. And then of course erroneous and misunderstandings could be there. अगर आपके write up में clarity, concisement और completeness नहीं है तो आप जो कहना चाह रहे हैं उसके opposite meaning convey हो सकता है. As far as basic parts of an email are concerned, we have a subject line, we have greeting, email text, which is also body, and then we have closing. Subject line, one of the most important parts of email, which keeps the reader, the writer, and the receiver hooked and focused. It has to be very clear, direct, brief, and appropriate capitalization should be there. कंटेंट वर्ड्स जो आपके होते हैं सब्जेक्ट लाइन में वो हमेशा कैपिटलाइज्ड होते हैं और फंक्शन वर्ड्स जो हैं वो हमेशा स्मॉल लेटर में लिखे जाते हैं. अच्छा, कंटेंट वर्ड्स होते हैं नाउन्स, एडजेक्टिव्स, एडवर्ब्स एंड वर्ब्स एंड द रेस्ट ऑफ द पार्ट्स ऑफ स्पीच सच एज prepositions, conjunctions, interjections, helping verbs, etc. They are functional words. वो सिर्फ फंक्शन प्रोवाइड करते हैं और कंटेंट वर्ड्स मीनिंग प्रोवाइड करते हैं. Now, look at the greeting. When you're unsure of gender, you should write Dear Professor Lee, Dear Dr. Smith, Dear Ali Mustafa, Dear Muslim Rizvi, Dear Dr. Izazullah, Dear Dr. Imran Yusuf, whatsoever. अगर आप नहीं श्योर ऑफ कोर्स हम अगर पाकिस्तान में लिख रहे हैं तो इट्स वेरी लाइकली कि हमें पता है कि जेंडर क्या है लेकिन कुछ नेम्स होते हैं जिसमें अगला शख्स आदमी या औरत दोनों हो सकता है. फॉर एग्जांपल बख्तावर, आई हैव हैड स्टूडेंट्स जो फीमेल्स भी होती हैं और मेल्स भी होते हैं सॉरी. एंड देन आई हैव हैड स्टूडेंट्स जिनका नाम अफाक है, लड़कियां भी होती हैं और लड़के भी होते हैं. सो बेस्ट वे टू अप्रोच देम वुड बी डियर अफाक अली, मतलब उसका पूरा नाम लिखा जाए. ठीक है, मिस और मिस्टर लिखने की जरूरत ही नहीं है, आप सीधा नाम लिखें. सिमिलरली अगर आप अपने टीचर को लिख रहे हैं तो आप उनके सामने हम कॉमनली सर यूज करते हैं. सर इज अ टाइटल दैट कैन नॉट बी यूज्ड फॉर अ टीचर but in Pakistan it's common, so therefore we can keep it and we'll be keeping it. Otherwise sir जो एक title है इसकी एक history है which does not actually entail के it is going to be used for a teacher, but पाकिस्तान में बहुत common. तो आप सर लिख सकते हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल आप अपने HOD को लिख रहे हैं, सिंस वो तो HOD जो है वो यूजुअली PhDs एंड प्रोफेसर्स ही होते हैं तो उनके साथ आप प्रोफेसर लिख सकते हैं. ठीक है, लेकिन अगर किसी टीचर के बारे में आपको नहीं पता कि उनका क्या डेजिग्नेशन है, डॉक्टर हैं, लेक्चरर हैं, AP हैं, AC हैं, जूनियर लेक्चरर है या जो भी है, तो आप उनके सामने सीधा सीधा लिख सकते हैं मिस्टर अली मुस्तफा, मतलब आप उनके साथ मिस्टर लगा सकते हैं जब आपको जेंडर पता है. देन व्हेन यू आर श्योर ऑफ जेंडर, ऑफ कोर्स डियर सर एंड मैडम कैन बी देयर. दीज आर सम बेसिक थिंग्स दैट यू must remember. For addressing group of people, you can write dear members of the committee, dear members of hiring committee, dear hiring committee. इस तरह के words और group of people के लिए आप use कर सकते हैं. And sometimes आपको पता नहीं होता कि ये email कौन कौन पढ़ने वाला है, तो आप ये लिख सकते हैं dear concerned parties to whom it may concern. So इस तरह की चीजें, इस तरह के expressions you can put in your email. Then if we talk about the email text, the body, the actual message that you're going to send should be written here. It should have 3 essential parts with it. Introduction, development and conclusion. बहुत डायरेक्ट और कंसाइज रहना है, बहुत बड़ी तमहीद बांधने की जरूरत नहीं होती और डायरेक्टली पॉइंट पे जाना होता है. देन वी हैव क्लोजिंग, which is complimentary close followed by a signature. For example, regards, best regards, your truly and etc. सिग्नेचर भी ऐड होता है आजकल. आप ईमेल में डिजिटल सिग्नेचर भी ऐड कर सकते हैं. As far as some of the types of emails are concerned, there are others as well, but these are the most basics one. ठीक है. Request emails, apology emails, introductory emails, and announcement emails. We can have information emails, and then we can have complaint emails. बहुत कुछ और भी बहुत टाइप्स हो सकती है, लेकिन हम इन 4 बेसिक टाइप्स पर बात करें. Then we have do's and don'ts. Okay. Request emails could be, for example, if you want to request one of your teachers to give you an extra time, extra hour to submit your assignment, you will post an request email. Apology email would be कि आप लेट थे, एब्सेंट थे, या आप सबमिट नहीं करवा पाए, या कोई बिहेवियरल इशू हो गया, या जो भी. You have to apologize to somebody in university. Let's say you have to apologize to your student counselor because you had a meeting with them and you did not show up, so you will be writing an apology email to them. Then introduction email could be there. It's very common where certain offices, they send introduction emails to their newly hired employees. उसमें वो सब कुछ लिखा होता है. ठीक है. जैसे मुझे मेरा ऑफर लेटर कुछ यूनिवर्सिटीज ईमेल करती हैं, और वो एक इंट्रोडक्शन ईमेल भी है. उसमें लिखा हुआ आता है कि आपको इतना पेमेंट किया जाएगा, आपको इतनी क्लासें लेनी है, आपने ये वाली क्लास पढ़ानी है, एक्सेट्रा. देन अनाउंसमेंट ईमेल्स, ऑफ कोर्स, एज द नेम सजेस्ट, कुछ भी अनाउंसमेंट करनी हो तो भी ईमेल्स भेजी जा सकती है. नाउ दीज आर सम डूज एंड डोंट्स of email writing. Avoid using unprofessional looking email address. Your email address should not be पापा की परी and रात का शहजादा, डॉन नंबर 1 और इस तरह के जो वियर्ड किस्म के ईमेल्स हमने बचपन में बनाए होते हैं. दैट शुड नॉट बी यूज्ड एट ऑल इन प्रोफेशनल एनवायरनमेंट. किसी भी केस में यूज नहीं करने चाहिए. इसके अलावा एक और चीज होती है जो कि बड़ी कॉमन है पाकिस्तानी स्टूडेंट्स में, कि उनका नाम होता है अली मुस्तफ़ा, लेकिन क्योंकि उनको उनके घर में या उनकी कोई कास्ट सिस्टम का कोई चक्कर है, तो वो मुस्तफ़ा की जगह अली राजपूत लिखकर भेज देते हैं, अली जहांगीर और चौधरी भेज के भेज देते हैं. वट एवर इज योर official name, you must utilize that only. Do not confuse the recipient with different names. For example, मेरा नाम सादिया मुनीर है, बट आई एम अ राजपूत. अब मैं किसी को लिख दूं सादिया राजपूत, दे विल बी परप्लेक्स्ड कि हमें तो ईमेल सादिया मुनीर ने लिखनी थी, ये राजपूत कौन है. या मैं लिख दूं सादिया बीबी, सादिया शहजादी. दैट इज अ कंफ्यूजन that most oftenly students create, and we must avoid at all costs. Then we have avoid using passive voice. Take charge of your write-up. I के साथ use करें. Personal pronouns use करें. ठीक है. Don't use contractions. जैसे इसी line में don't use contractions में contraction use हुई हुई है. Do not लिखें. ठीक है. Don't मत लिखें, क्योंकि don't जो है वो spoken English को attributed है, not to the written English. Then avoid using semicolons, words to avoid such as should, must, demand, require. Use neutralized words, capitalized proper. यानी सारी grammatical issues and intentional mistakes नहीं होनी चाहिए. Do not capitalize preposition while writing in subject line. This is important to remember. These are some do's and don'ts of it. Some techniques and tips that can make your email effective or enlisted in front of you. Use correct email address. Provide an effective subject line. अब देखिए subject line को effective कैसे बनाते हैं. That is also a important task to be done. For example, मैंने short attendance के बारे में इन्फॉर्म करना है स्टूडेंट को. अब मैं स्टूडेंट का ईमेल लेती हूँ और मैं उस पर लिख देती हूँ शॉर्ट अटेंडेंस और अंदर खत्म. दैट इज एन इनइफेक्टिव subject line. Instead, I should write warning for short attendance in course, etc., etc., so that the student knows कि exactly कौन से subject से ये आ रही है. इसी तरह से अगर आपने request करनी है प्रोग्राम मैनेजर से शॉर्ट अटेंडेंस के इशू को लेकर, then you will be clearly writing short attendance in this course एक्सेट्रा एंड देन बॉडी में आप प्रॉपर रीजनिंग देंगे कि क्यों है. देन लिमिट योर ईमेल टू वन स्क्रीन. बहुत एक्सटेंसिव ईमेल्स मत लिखें. इतनी होनी चाहिए कि वो वन स्क्रीन, ये वो जो एक बॉक्स खुलता है जीमेल में, वो क्लियरली आसानी से हमें उसी में हमारी बातचीत पूरी हो जाए. यूज हाईलाइटिंग टेक्निक्स. ठीक है. प्रूफ रीड योर ईमेल. डू नॉट ईमेल कॉन्फिडेंशियल इंफॉर्मेशन. मेक हार्ड कॉपीज फॉर फ्यूचर रेफरेंस. Practice netiquette. Be courteous. Don't use abusive language. Learn how to express emotions. Read your message before sending. So ये कुछ बेसिक चीजें हैं जो आपने माइंड में रखनी है. अच्छा, ये एक बेसिक लेआउट होता है हमारे ईमेल्स का जो आपको पता ही है. टू, सीसी, बीसीसी, सब्जेक्ट एंड एक्सेट्रा. टू इज द रिसिपिएंट. रिसिपिएंट का ईमेल एड्रेस आता है इसमें. सीसी इज कार्बन कॉपी. बीसीसी इज ब्लाइंड कार्बन कॉपी. एंड सब्जेक्ट में हम सब्जेक्ट लाइन लिखते हैं और बीच में फिर हम बॉडी और एक्सेट्रा. So these are the names of the layout of email. Header में from to subject and data जाती है. ठीक है. डेट ऑटोमेटिकली. अच्छा, ये जो हमारे सर्वर्स होते हैं इसमें डेट ऑटोमेटिकली शो होती है. मैसेज ब्लॉक, सिग्नेचर, देन वी हैव सेव, सेंड एंड डिस्कार्ड, सीसी एंड बीसीसी. ठीक है. कॉमन एक्सप्रेशंस दैट आर यूज्ड इन ईमेल राइटिंग आर लिस्टेड इन फ्रंट ऑफ यू. स्टैंडर्ड होते हैं डियर डेविड, Dear David Brown, to group, Dear all, Dear everybody or everybody, hi all. Then to someone you know well, hi, hope all is well. To unfamiliar people, Dear sir, madam, etc. And neutralized would be best regards, best wishes. Informal could be cheers, hope to hear from you soon, see you soon. Formal होती है with kind regards, yours sincerely and faithfully. जिस किस्म की क्लोजिंग एंड ओपनिंग हम लेटर राइटिंग में करते हैं उसी तरह की हमारे पास ईमेल राइटिंग में भी होती है. Then phrase before final salutation, very informal excuses for ending. Sending regards to other people, wishing people well. Organizing content, it has to be organized according to the importance of the idea and then summarize and conclude. Then you can ask or give help by using these words: asking, accepting, declining, and etc. For invitations, you can use these words, right? Then making inquiries, journal inquiries could be there, asking for receive papers. हम जब emails लिखते हैं तो हम inquire करने के लिए, confirmation या information लेने के लिए भी लिखते हैं. Then we can reply to inquiries in which we can thank them, we can make some kind of judgment out of it, we can ask for further details, and then we can also talk about next steps, telling recipient how they want them to proceed. For example, yesterday I received an email जिसमें एक बच्चा जो था वो ये कह रही थी that she is not happy with her result. She would like me to reconsider and etc. So she asked for it. In return, as a reply, I told her that her paper has been checked twice and there's nothing can be done. But of course, we can work out something later. Then we have making arrangements for meetings and teleconferences. अच्छा, ये बहुत common है. Once you enter your professional life, you will be doing this a lot, right? You will be writing the time, the venue, availability of certain people. अगर कोई चीज change हो जाती है in the middle of it, तो वो सारा कुछ आप through emails करते हैं. ठीक है. Then asking and giving clarification is very common utility of email writing. Asking for clarification when you do not understand, giving clarification when the reader did not understand, hoping to uh, acknowledge the misunderstanding and etc. All these things are then there. Then apologizing, अभी हमने बात की, for not answering the mail. For example, अगर मैं कभी late answer देती हूँ तो मैं लिखती हूँ apologize, yeah, I apologize for getting back to you too late because I was busy and etc. So ये सारी चीजें आप देख सकते हैं. Then ethical considerations are important. As far as technical problems with email are concerned, failed attempt to contact someone through phone, failed attempt to send and receive fax, asking for confirmation of arrival, etc. Internet connection could be a big factor in the mix. Okay. Then ethical considerations when writing emails. Only discuss public matters. Be careful with what you're sharing with whom. Avoid using company assigned email for personal purposes. ठीक है? Do not email angry. Respect for others is ethical. Do not read your co-workers' emails without their consent. Respect for confidentiality. These are some ethical considerations that you should keep while writing emails to your respective people. Now, I have a reference chapter for you that you will be reading at your own. जहाँ पर देखिए, हाँ, ये एक देख लेते हैं कि सब्जेक्ट लाइन को कैसे क्लियर करते हैं. यहाँ पर एग्जांपल्स लिखी हुई हैं. राइटिंग अ क्लियर सब्जेक्ट line, for example, seminar. Now, this is not clear, very generic. Look at the second one, security management seminar held by the scenes. Now, this is clear. यहाँ पर clearly लिखा हुआ है कि कौन क्या कर रहा है. Photography machine, not clear. Authorization of photocopy machine, not photography, I'm sorry, it's photocopy. For information. Now, information alone is not sufficient. Request for salary information is clear. So this is how you write a proper email subject lines. Then how to use CC, right? CC is जहाँ पर आप अपने bosses को और अपने certain लोगों को loop में रख सकते हैं. तो CC में carbon copy में वो आता है. Now, 2 is expected to respond. जो recipient होता है, जिसका email address हम 2 में लिखते हैं, they are supposed to respond. And CC is expected to read the message as information only. They are not supposed to correspond with it. जिसको हम CC करते हैं, वो सिर्फ loop में होता है, उसका काम सिर्फ पढ़ना है और loop में रहना है. Then we have attachments. Like I told you, attachments के साथ आप यहाँ लिख सकते हैं. You are required to use this software to read the attachment. So ये सारा जो एक reference chapter है, you will be reading it at your own. ठीक है. अच्छा, ये एक एग्जाम्पल है. यूज courteous language. जैसे 7 C's की हम बात कर रहे थे कि we must use 7 C's when we are using email as a technique or tool. Read the email below. Consider how you would feel if you were the reader, then compare it with the revised one. अब ये देखें, ये ओरिजिनल ईमेल है, जैसे किसी स्टूडेंट ने किया हो या किसी ने किसी को किया हो. फ्रॉम टू एंड सब्जेक्ट है. अब देखें, सब्जेक्ट लाइन ही बहुत वीक है. वर्क परमिट किसका है, कहाँ का है, कितना वैलिडिटी, कुछ भी नहीं लिखा. फिर देयर इज नो ग्रीटिंग. अब देखिए, सीधा सीधा मैसेज पे आ गए. आई एम नो लॉन्गर रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर डीलिंग विद वर्क परमिट्स, सो डू नॉट अलाउ योर स्टाफ टू ब्रिंग दीज परमिट्स टू माई ऑफिस एनीमोर. Let your staff contact Hassan from now on for all permit matters. Now that is very harsh, direct. No closing, no opening. और ये जिस तरह का जो assertive word है, do not allow your staff. That's very rude. That sounds rude. Now let's look at the revised version, the better version. ठीक है. अब हमारे पास सब्जेक्ट उन्होंने ऐसे ही लिखा है, लेकिन इट इज अ वीक वन. अप्रोप्रिएट ग्रीटिंग, डियर ऑल, पोलाइट मैसेज. आई हैव just been transferred to the training department. Please inform your respective department to deal with Hassan from now on. Your cooperation is appreciated. Regards, etc., etc. This is how you write a proper email. This is how you should be writing an appropriate email. Then we have action statement when necessary. अब देखें, ये एक ईमेल सिनेरियो है जहां पर हम एक एक्शन स्टेटमेंट लिख रहे हैं. वायरस कॉशन. वी हैव आइडेंटिफाइड अ वायरस इन द फॉर्म ऑफ एन अटैचमेंट with the word love, which will try to run itself without the knowledge of your friends, partners, or vendors. Therefore, do not open any email or save any attachment having the word love, even if it is from your trusted partners and vendors. ठीक है. तो ये क्लैरिफाई करने के लिए इसको एक्शन स्टेटमेंट यहाँ पर आप क्लियरली डू नॉट यूज कर सकते हैं. देन आइडेंटिफाई योर सेल्फ क्लियरली. यहाँ पे क्लियरली अपना नाम, अपनी डेजिग्नेशन, फोन नंबर और ईमेल एड्रेस लिखें. इंपॉर्टेंट है. डू नॉट यूज अब्यूजिव बिहेवियर. डू नॉट यूज एब्रीविएशन और डू नॉट ओवर यूज एब्रीविएशन. अब देखें, इस टेक्स्ट को पढ़े जो बहुत कॉमन है, आप स्टूडेंट्स में आप ऐसे ही लिखते हैं. Be informed that you are nominated to attend a risk management seminar which will be held at Hilton Hotel in Dubai from etc. etc. Let me know if you need more info. Inappropriate. You cannot write like this in an email. ठीक है. ये सारे words जो highlighted हैं, जैसे please, you to, at info, should be avoided. These abbreviations are only acceptable अगर आप email informally लिख रहे हैं, लेकिन formal लिख रहे हैं तो it's not at all acceptable. अच्छा, avoid all capital words. ठीक है, अब look at this. All capitalized is not okay, so avoid it. अच्छा, this is the revised one. This is much better to read. Summary. This is important. In order for business emails to be effective, please consider the top 10 tips before you hit the send button. Keep your message short. Make your subject line mean something. Start your email with dear and end with simple closing. Always spell words correctly. Write in a positive tone. Sign your messages with at least your name, job title, and contact number. Do not use only capital letters. Don't just rely on email. An email can be lost. Follow-ups should be there. Avoid using abbreviation unless your readers are familiar. Tell people the format of any attachment that they need uh, in order to read that attachment. ठीक है, तो ये रेफरेंस चैप्टर 1 है. एक रेफरेंस चैप्टर 2 भी मैंने अटैच किया हुआ है, वो भी आप पढ़ सकते हैं, जिसमें आपको इसकी हिस्ट्री कहाँ से आया, इफ़ यू हैव इंटरेस्ट आप इसको पढ़ सकते हैं. तो वो आपको बताएगा कि इसमें क्या क्या फर्दर आपको बहुत ज़्यादा इसमें ये क्लैरिफाई कर देगा. ठीक है. नाउ यू मस्ट बी वंडरिंग दैट हमने सबसे पहले कम्युनिकेशन की बात की, फिर हमने 7 C's की बात की, फिर ईमेल की बात की. अब एक क्लास एक्टिविटी है जो हम मंडे को कर सकते हैं और अभी भी कर सकते हैं. सो टेल मी, वुड यू लाइक टू डू द क्लास एक्टिविटी राइट नाउ और ऑन कैंपस?
On campus. Campus, ma'am.
Okay, fine. That's fine by me. We'll do it on campus. We are left with half an hour. Now, if you have any questions, please go ahead and ask. Okay, did I post the 4th assignment? I think I forgot to post the 4th assignment. Is that correct? Let me see. Yes, okay. I'll be posting your 4th assignment as well. तो आपको थोड़ा सा और टाइम दे दिया जाएगा बिकॉज आई फॉरगॉट टू डू इट. तो वो भी आप देख लीजिएगा और मंडे को आप उससे रिलेटेड मुझसे सवाल पूछ सकते हैं. मीनवाइल आज जो हमने डिस्कस किया है उससे रिलेटेड कोई क्वेश्चन है तो प्लीज गो अहेड एंड आस्क. आई एम कनेक्टेड, आई विल बी हियर बट आई विल बी ऑन म्यूट एंड दैट्स ऑल फॉर टुडे. ठीक है. आफ्टर 20 minutes आई विल बी टेकिंग योर अटेंडेंस. सो मीनवाइल आप इसको पढ़ें और एक छोटा सा एक टेड टॉक देखेंगे हम. ठीक है, उससे आपको पता चलेगा कि ईमेल की इम्पोर्टेंस क्या है. ठीक है, लेट्स वॉच इट टुगेदर.
Hello. Anna's just arrived at her desk to start the day at Tip Top Trading. Paul's walking towards her, eating a biscuit. He looks a bit bothered.
Anna,
Yes, Paul.
come and have a biscuit in my office. Now, Anna, about Mr. Lime.
I didn't say yes.
Pardon? Yes to what?
Oh, nothing.
You sent him an email yesterday and copied me in.
Yes.
Your email reads boxes OK, PLS, CDU, C firm WNT 300 tar.
Yes. Please could you confirm you want 300?
Right. Now, that's not really the best way of writing an email to a client, is it?
Oh,
Please could you resend your message to Mr. Lime using actual words that make sense?
okay.
Thank you. Now, here, have a chocolate crunchy.
Thanks.
Morning, Anna.
Hello.
Let me guess. Paul just spoke to you about your email.
How do you know?
You copied me in, remember? I just read it, or tried to.
But what's the problem? Other people write like that.
No, maybe some people write text messages like that in an SMS message on their phones, but that is completely the wrong style for an email to a client.
Okay, Anna, let's stop listening to Tom. He's a waste of space. These are the kinds of phrases you need in a business-related email. Dear Mr. Lime, I hope you're well. I'm writing regarding... Please could you confirm... Yours sincerely, or best wishes.
Thank you. I'll rewrite my message. There, I'd better get it checked before I send. Denise?
Yes, the other problem with Stephanie is that her legs are just too long.
Oh, she's on the phone.
Yes, like trees.
I'll have to ask Tom. Tom?
Hmm?
Could you read this through before I send it?
Hang on, Anna, just let me finish this sentence. It's really important. Right, I'm ready. Let's have a look. Okay. Dear Mr. Lime, I hope you are well. I'm writing regarding your request for luxury boxes for the Imperial Lemon delivery. We will indeed be able to supply them. Please could you confirm that you want 300? Best wishes, Anna.
Well?
It's good. It's much better. Send it. Hopefully Mr. Lime will think your last message was just someone sitting on your keyboard by mistake.
Thanks.
You're not...
What?
Well, it's nothing. No, it's none of my business.
What?
You're not ever going to go to lunch with Mr. Lime, are you, Anna? I mean, in a non-business way.
No, of course not.
I mean, I don't care. It's just important to stay professional.
Yes.
Well, I had a feeling Anna's email was going to cause problems, but at least she won't make a mistake like that again. Here's a reminder of the phrases she used in her new improved email.
Dear Mr. Lime, I hope you are well. I am writing regarding... Please could you confirm... Best wishes.
Until next time, bye!
Now that was very fruitful, a very contextualized kind of we can say example, right? काफी उसमें context उन्होंने provide किया कि किस तरह से miscommunication, communication भी हो रही है, clarity and completeness is there. So I'm sharing the link as well. You can keep it. इसके अलावा there is one talk about real life English conversation with formal and informal email writing. Let's watch that too. This will help reinforce the ideas that we have just discussed.
First, look. It's time to learn English through real conversation. In today's lesson, we're going to learn how to write an effective email and the difference between formal and informal email. Let's learn common mistakes that people generally make while writing an email and see probable solutions. Part 1. Formal email. Natalie, please come to see me in my office in 5 minutes. Yes, sir. Hi, Richard. Did you want to see me? Take a seat. I want to talk with you. Do you know how to write an email in the workplace? Is there something wrong? You made a lot of mistakes in this email. First, look, you didn't write the email subject line. Never ever have a blank subject line. How is your recipient supposed to know what your email is about if it doesn't have the specific line? Secondly, the words you use in the email are completely inappropriate for the workplace environment. You need to use formal words when writing the email. Third, you forgot to attach the document to the email. It wasn't the first time you've made this mistake. I don't want it to happen again. I'm so sorry. I promise never to make the same mistakes again. Plus, the person who has responded or is involved in the project needs to be CC'd or be CC'd in the email. Finally, no more spelling mistakes, and remember, there must be a signature in the email. I got it, sir. I will keep that in mind. And Natalie, last time you didn't submit the report on time. If you still make such mistakes, you will be fired. Yes, sir. You look so sad, Natalie. What happened? I got scolded by my boss because I made a lot of mistakes in my email. If this situation keeps happening, I'm afraid I won't finish the internship. I don't know what I should do. Everyone makes mistakes. When I first came to the company, I also got scolded by my boss. But because of that, I learned a lot. Don't worry, I will help you. Really? You're so kind. Thank you very much. Don't mention it. To write a professional email, you need to pay attention to these things. What are they? Before writing or sending an email, you need to have a professional email address. This email address is one you use for work. So make sure to use it only for work-related purposes or formal communication. Is it the email address the company gave me? That's right. For all the work-related matters, you need to use that email address. Okay, I got it. Every email needs to have a subject line. You need to write a concise, informative subject line. It is a short phrase that summarizes the reason for your email message. For example, can I write it like this? Revenue reports third quarter 2022. You are learning fast. Thank you. When you click reply all, you must be careful because that means you've emailed your response to both the sender of the previous message and everyone who received the original email. Okay, I'll keep this in mind. You also need to create your personal email signature. Do you know how to create one? Yes, I do. Is there anything I need to pay special attention to? It should include your full name, job title, a photo of yourself, a direct phone number, and a hyperlinked website address. A professional signature allows you to promote your brand and company. Oh, I'm still missing the website address. I will add it later. When you write an email, you should begin with an appropriate greeting. Slang, overly friendly, or overly stiff language must always be avoided. I see. If so, I bet I can't use interjections or exclamation points either, right? That's right. You should keep everything short, simple, and formal. And if you write an email to foreign clients, you should pay attention to cultural differences to avoid unnecessary problems. Such useful knowledge. Thank you for telling me this. No problem. And last but not least, you must always double-check everything before sending it. Thank you, Anna. Now I can write a proper and professional email to send to my boss. I know you can do it. Keep at it. I'm leaving. See you later.
Tired of long videos, lectures, tutorials?
Part 2, Informal Email. What are you doing? Could you do me a favor? Just watching YouTube. What do you need? My computer has just crashed and can't be used. Can you help me to write an email for a friend? Sure, Mom. I just learned how to write an email today. This is a great chance for me to practice. What do you want me to write about? I want to email my best friend from middle school. She's living abroad now. I haven't talked to her for a long time. I want to know how she is doing. That's it? Is there anything else you want to write? I want her to know how about my current life. Let her know that I still work as a teacher, but now I have moved to our old school. Help me to say that I miss her very much. And I would like to invite her to come back here to visit my house so that we can reminisce about old memories. No problem. What is her name? Susan. Okay, I got it. Trust me. All done. What do you think? Let me take a look. Subject: informal email from your old friend Mary. Dear Mrs. Susan, I'm writing to express my yearning for you. It has been a long time since we last met. Would you mind telling me a little more about your current life? I would be grateful to know. Please reply at your earliest convenience. I look forward to hearing from you. Sincerely, Mary Anderson. My goodness, why did you write it so formally? What's wrong with that, Mom? It looks like you're inviting a president over to my house. Why do you say that? Because it's too polite and formal, not suitable when talking to friends. So what do I need to do? The email subject doesn't have to be that complicated, just keep it simple. But I thought it was already simple. You can write it shorter. For example, letter from Mary. Okay, let me fix it. Anything else? In the beginning, you can use a friendly greeting, such as, "Hi, Susan." It's so simple. This is not a work context, so you can write it informally, comfortable. So that's it. You should notice a few more points. After the greeting, you can express my apology for a long time without contact. Then the reason for writing the email, and finally is the invitation. At the end of the letter, use a cordial greeting. That makes sense. I know my problems.
Once everything's
Thank you, Mom.
perfectly
Writing emails is so hard, but I'm glad I learned a new style of email writing.
I hope it has helped you understand all the points that we have discussed and it was helpful. Now, after 5 minutes, I'll be taking your attendance. Meanwhile, if you have any questions, Pitap, go ahead and ask. If everything is clear and it does make sense to you, please write in the chat box, it's clear. Okay, so I hope that was helpful. Now, if you have any questions, please go ahead and ask those questions. After a few minutes, I'll be taking your attendance. Other than that, if everything is clear and you do not have any questions, either you can write in the chat box, no questions, or you can write all clear so that I know you have understood the topic. And on the basis of today's discussion, we are going to have a class activity on Monday. Apart from your, I think I have announced a quiz as well. Yes, apart from quiz, you're going to have this class activity. If you have any questions, please post them in the chat box. Yes, Daniel, what is the question? Puche.
Ma'am, attendance.
After 5 minutes, I'll take your attendance.
Okay, ma'am.
पढ़ना नहीं है अटेंडेंस ही सब कुछ है हमारे लिए चले कोई नहीं क्या कर ले okay if it is clear beta if you don't have any questions please write clear in the chat box all of you जब तक नहीं लिखेंगे अटेंडेंस नहीं होगी hurry up either write clear or write no questions or ask questions जी ज़ाहरा पूछे बेटा No, Zara, we can't hear you. Please
मैम
unmute. Yes.
मैम वो जो चैट मैसेज है वहाँ पे नहीं अलाउ कर रहे लिखना
अब देखें, अब ट्राई करें।
मैम अब हो रहा है।
ओके ठीक है। जी अब्दुल्ला, इफ्तिखार बेटा, व्हाट इज द क्वेश्चन?
मैम वही चैट बॉक्स का इशू आ रहा था, रिजॉल्व हो गया।
Okay, I'll be taking your attendance. What I've done is I've taken your attendance already. I'm going to take names of the students that I could not find in the list, but just in case you are present in the room right now, आप है मीटिंग में तो आप प्रेजेंट बोलेंगे। जिनका बेटा मैं नाम नहीं लूंगी उनकी मैंने प्रेजेंट लगा दी है, ठीक है? अब्दुल्ला खान, अहमद मुस्तफ़ा, आमना अरसलान, अवैस गुल, अजहर परवेज, हमजा आमिर, इब्राहिम, ईमान तारिक, मोहम्मद तैयब, मोहसिन मजीद, मोहम्मद अब्दुल रहमान, मोहम्मद वकार, मोहम्मद हमजा अदनान, मोहम्मद मुबीन कामिल, मुकद्दस, राफाइल अतीक, सैयद मोहम्मद अब्बास रजा, हानिया शाहिद, साइम शेख,
मैम प्रेजेंट।
हानिया इज हियर, ओके। एजाजुल्ला, कैसर अली खान, ठीक है? जिनका बेटा मैंने नाम नहीं लिया, योर अटेंडेंस इज विद मी, इट्स हियर। Okay, that's all from my side for today. You can get ready for the next class. Allah
आपने
Hafiz.
मेरा नेम नहीं लिया।
Take care. जी बेटा, रोल नंबर बताओ।
मैम 171 मोमिना मसूद।
तो मोमिना, अगर आप सुन रही होती बेटा, तो आई टोल्ड यू जिसका नाम नहीं लिया उसकी अटेंडेंस लगी हुई है।
जी मैम।
सुना करे ना, सिर्फ अटेंड मतलब अटैच क्या कहते हैं, कनेक्ट होके सोना ना जाया करे। चलो, ओके जी, अल्लाह हाफिज, टेक केयर। जी सुभान, बताएं बेटा, व्हाट्स द क्वेश्चन?
मैम मुबीन प्रेजेंट है, उसका नेटवर्क इशू हो रहा है।
नहीं, देयर इज नो नेटवर्क इशू, नहीं होता, मैं नोट कर लेती हूँ, वो रिक्वेस्ट कर सकते हैं। क्या रोल नंबर बताएं उनका? मुबीन, मुबीन नाम का तो बच्चा ही नहीं है। एक सेकेंड।
180
वन
180।
180, मोहम्मद मुबीन कामिल, ठीक।